But yes, I got to share my testimony like, I don't know, upwards of 50 times.
That's crazy.
Crazy amount. And so it really got easy to just, it was like shedding a layer of like shame every single time.
Hear him out. I barely know him.
Hello, and welcome to the Hear 'Em Out podcast, a weekly conversation with my friends and I about how the Lord speaks to us and how he asks us to hear him out. Today I have Ella and Kaylee.
Hi, podcast. Want to say hi? Hello.
We are currently in my new podcast studio. Woo!
Texas Women's University.
Yeah. I actually did. Pretty expensive podcast studio, but worth it.
Just write it off.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, good idea. Good to think of that now after I've bought it. So that's smart. That's smart. Yeah. No, we're at Texas Women's University. This is where they go to school. You can see Kaylee's badge.
Yes.
She's nice and proud of it.
She's so official.
But we got my logo up here, so don't ask us how long it took us to get this up here.
Very, very difficult for some reason.
Long. How many people does it take to get a logo on a TV?
Yeah.
Apparently
Three.
For a second, I thought you were going to do an Aggie diss. You're going to be like, how many Aggies does it take? It was an opportunity.
I could have. After this weekend, I really could have.
You really could have.
So sorry. Too soon.
Thank you so much.
Moment of silence for the Aggies lost.
Ella and
Sorry.
Wait,
sorry if I...
Let me do it again. Moment of silence for the Aggies lost. Okay, silence over.
Awesome.
What were you going to say?
Ella and I have to wear UT jerseys on Wednesday.
Are you going to wear them? Do you just have to wear them at school? Can you wear them for the run?
Well, we can't.
We actually aren't going to be able to make it.
We have to present
I know.
dumb research.
Oh, that's on Wednesday
Dumb
night.
research. You heard it here.
Wait,
folks.
that's tragic.
Yeah.
Okay. Little backstory of how I know these two fools. Is fools. We're at your PT school, so anyway. But so technically, well, okay. This starting off. This is Ella's episode. Kaylee's episode will be next, so we'll talk about Kaylee more in the next episode. But Ella and I technically met back in like February.
True.
Would you say February? Maybe late January.
It was February, yes.
Okay, February. I just remember Valentine's Day. That's mostly what I remember. Because
that was the end.
Yep, that was the end of it.
Yeah, that was the end.
She was set up with one of my guy friends. Okay.
Yes.
And that's how I first officially met her. Was one of my guy friends. He was like, "Hey, I'm like that friend for a lot of my guys that they'll go to me and be like, okay, I need you to like scout this girl out. Like, what do you think of her? Like, give me your honest opinion," which is so sweet.
So sweet.
Like, I love that. Oh, somebody's
Honestly,
grabbing a wheelchair.
Thoughtful.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
don't be distracted.
There's people blocking past
There are
us.
people who are about to be taking a practical studying in
that's
this
fine.
building, so
Yeah.
we might have some. Just ignore.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, so he was like, "Oh, can you meet her? And like, I want to introduce you, and like, you let me know what you think of her." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And so I think we met at the porch.
Yeah.
And y'all really only went on a few dates,
Yeah.
and so it wasn't super serious or anything.
Not that deep.
But that's how
Good.
we met. Yeah, not that deep, but then that's how we met.
It's a good thing. Too.
It didn't last much longer than Valentine's Day.
Yes,
that's when it ended.
This is true. Keep telling them that. Yep.
Sorry.
Yep. I'm just kidding.
I can cut it out if I need to. If I need to cut it out, I can cut it out.
No, I truly feel like it was a good time. Essentially, like a good time for me to get back in the dating world. And it was like no hard feelings at all. It was like seriously great, and honestly made me excited about Watermark and making friends there. And so I'm glad it introduced me to you.
It introduced us, and then we never talked ever again after that. Pretty much. I think you added me on Facebook.
Did I?
I think you did.
Oh my gosh!
I think you friended me on Facebook, and I was like, "Oh, hello." Yeah. I will say, I gave my friend the stamp of approval for you.
Yes,
I did.
She told me this the other day.
Yeah. I was like, well, I met you briefly at the porch, and I was like, I like her, and so I gave her my stamp of approval. Which there's some girls sometimes where I meet, and I'm like, they're fake. I can tell. I can tell. You know, you can just tell.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't. And I was like, I think she's real.
nice.
And she was.
She's real. Oh,
that's real. She's real, guys.
That's one of the highest compliments I can receive. Truly.
It is. It's one of my favorite like things to hear when somebody's like, you're really real. I'm like, thank you. I like to be.
I love that.
Yeah. So, and then we rekindled our friendship.
Yes.
A few weeks ago, I would say.
Weeks? No, it's definitely been a couple months.
No.
Yes.
Like mid-October.
So like a month and a half.
Yeah.
A few weeks.
Yeah,
like
girl,
6 weeks.
December.
Like, so 6 weeks.
Okay, you said a few.
Okay, that's fair.
Everyone, vote in the comments.
That's fair.
What do you think a few means? 3?
Okay. Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. That's so fair. Okay, yeah. So like 6 to 8 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay. So I started running with this group, apparently. We can talk about more about that in the next episode with Kaylee, because that's kind of more how I like met Kaylee, I would say. But yeah, that's me and Ella. We rekindled our friendship, and now we're all friends, and it's great.
Yeah.
And so, any fun stories you want to tell about our friendship in the past?
Oh my gosh,
6 to 8 weeks.
That's a great question. I feel like most of them revolve around running so far, but
True.
I do remember
some game nights.
Yes, some game nights. By the way, Izzy's a great hostess, and
thanks.
Especially just welcoming. But the first time you came to an Endorphins Run Club Wednesday night,
okay,
I remember I think you texted me and you were like, "Hey, like, be honest, how fast are you running?" And I was like, "Girl, I just started running like a month ago. It's not like I'm not fast.
Was this the Cypress Waters one?
This was
her first one.
Grapevine.
You couldn't come.
Grapevine was
okay. Well, my first time running with you.
Yes. Sorry. You're right.
I'll give you the credit.
I was gonna say
you had already been one.
That was my second time running. I think.
Oh my gosh.
On not running, but second time running.
Yes.
Wednesday
with the
night.
club. With the
club.
My first experience.
We all fail. That's how it is at Endorphins Run Club.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
it is. So I showed up and you were there, and you were like, "Oh my gosh, like they run fast." And I was like, "But listen, I'm always the caboose. I'm so happy to be the caboose.
Yeah.
Kind of my calling.
Yes.
And then you ran with me. I was like pacing myself at probably like 10:30, 10:45.
You think it was that fast?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yes, it was. It was. You think it was faster or slower?
I thought it was faster.
We might have been a little bit faster.
In hindsight, it being like my third run ever. Okay, it probably felt really fast to me, but probably running it now, I would have been like, oh yeah.
Exactly. No, they were going fast. They were going like 9:30 or 10 or something crazy.
No, they're faster.
We started probably at 10:15 and then slowed down a little bit.
Yeah.
But about a mile in, Izzy was like, I gotta walk.
This is your favorite memory, is when I forced you to walk?
You said, let me call her out.
I guess I called her out, so she's like, now it's time for me to call Izzy out.
Ella said, let me tell you all how good of a friend I am.
Right.
She said, I walked with her.
She said, so Izzy,
this is called the
Izzy's
Hear
not
Him
athletic.
Out podcast. Hear her out podcast.
She is him.
You're not that guy.
Okay, continue. You can keep going.
Oh my goodness. This is just going to be a recurring theme, I can tell. Let's roast Ella. No, I'm just kidding. But
you're roasting me right now.
I'm not trying to. My point with the story is that we got to talk a lot more, I feel like. And I even just like remember being like so encouraged by the fact that it was like I felt like I was finally like running alongside somebody who was more at my level
or way beneath your level, that you're like, man, this girl makes me feel good. And she can't make this
honestly,
run, and I
can. Not even. It was like, okay, yeah, like we can walk, and like this is, and I remember telling you all the things everybody told me and whatever, and you were like, oh my gosh, thanks, that makes me feel better, whatever. And I was like, I can tell we're gonna like be friends. I don't know. It just was. I could run and walk with her, and we were very, I mean, like, I didn't feel like there was any, like, candid bad moments, but it was, like, you were candidly like, I'm tired. I gotta, you know.
Yeah.
And I was also like, yeah, I don't mind, you know.
Yeah.
Just, it was really fun and a nice time to talk and just walk around and figure out where we were going in Grapevine.
Because
we lost
the group so quickly.
We lost the group so quick, so we kind of had to make our own route, and it was just like a fun little adventure. And then afterwards, you like joking around at the table at the ice cream. It was just so fun. It was that was like a fun. I love that memory.
I think we started roasting Trevor.
Oh yeah.
I think most of our memories are just roasting people.
For sure.
And that's what's fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we bonded over.
We did bond over that.
Like other people.
Our friends. Yeah.
And
for sure.
But yeah.
I do remember that was one of our first bonding moments, like true bonding moments, I feel like. Because I did know you at that point. Like, I had your number saved in my phone, and, like, I knew, like, who you were. But I don't think we had, like, really, hung out or anything yet. And so that was, like, really sweet. And I feel like that was a moment where I was like, I like this girl. Like, I liked you before, but now I, like, really liked you because you didn't, like, mind, like, and you didn't make me feel bad. Because I tell people sometimes, like, oh, I feel really bad for, like, making you stop running. Because I know that some runners are,
I know
like,
that feeling.
Yeah, the runners are like, we want to keep going. Like, you're making us, like, our PR is going to suck because of you, you know? Like,
what the heck?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I'm so slow. Like, but you genuinely never made me feel like no, like, like, oh, I have to stop running.
Good.
Like,
I'm glad.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
It always
what
felt
I was
like,
trying to.
Yeah, it just always felt like, okay, like, she's not mad about this. Like, she's okay with this. Like, she's being,
and you were
like,
killing it. You were.
I was killing the vibe for sure.
Let me just listen. That was your third run,
third or fourth probably.
In a row, and now she has literally run 6 miles in one sitting. Crazy. And I started running before you, and I still haven't done that. And so let me tell you, she's killing it now. And she was then, but she's really killing it now.
I don't know how I did it.
In now,
I literally don't know how I did it. Holy Spirit,
is incredible.
Holy Spirit, because I genuinely, I don't know, but it's crazy to think like think back to that run where I think we ran like a mile and I was dying. And I think I had a really bad side stitch. And
it was a side stitch.
But I started like, even if I get side stitches now, I've started running through them and I've gotten better at like how to power through them and how to like, and you were even really helpful with that of like, oh, here's what you have to eat before and after. And like just helping me give me like the science behind stuff and all that. But yeah,
I also remember like my AirPod.
Yes, I was gonna say that.
I was like trying to, because you didn't bring AirPods, or I don't remember.
I didn't bring AirPods. Yeah,
I was like, here, you can listen to my music. I put your AirPod, and it kept flying out of her ear, or like it would just like randomly pause. And she was like, it's in my ear. I don't know what's going on. And I was like, I don't know either. You have like, I don't know why, but my AirPods are so tiny.
Yeah, I don't know what was wrong.
I think I might have really small. This is a random, strange, probably TMI fact, but I guess I have small ear holes. Like, I think I do. Yes, because like, honestly, I don't know if that's. Can anyone see?
I think my ears are small.
Take a look.
I don't. No, here's the thing. I think it's that shape of those AirPods.
Yeah.
That don't fit in my ears well.
That makes.
I think it's
so much sense.
It's me.
Okay.
It's me, not
I'm
you.
The problem.
Yeah, I'm the problem.
Okay.
Got
it.
Got it.
Because I feel like the new ones too are like they don't fit right in your ear.
They're weird. Yeah. And so the old ones fit fine, but then like so I have the older generation ones because I'm a rogue. And so but the newer ones, like I don't like them. Like they just don't stay in right. And so I felt so bad. That's what I felt the worst about.
Oh no.
Was like every 10 seconds we'd start running again and I'd have to like literally the whole time I'm like trying to hold my ear, just like adjusting it to like keep it in place.
No, you were so sweet. You really put in the work to try to make it work, and then we finally were like, you know what? I think it's not.
Yeah, I was just like,
it's okay.
And then I felt bad because then you kept running because we got back to the place and you were like, I'm gonna keep running to like reach 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
But I still had the one AirPod in my pocket.
Oh my God.
And so it like stopped playing or something as you were running away. And I was like,
it's okay.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, yeah.
But yeah, good times.
That was a fun time. See, wasn't it a good
memory?
Thank you. Okay.
And then the ice cream run was like really fun out.
Yes.
Or the ice cream, like that was fun.
So
that
motivating.
Was another bonding moment.
Grapevine ice cream. What's it called again?
Oh, I have no idea.
I don't even remember, but whatever.
Yeah.
Carolyn's ice cream. No, that's like
It's a Grapevine somewhere.
No.
It's like,
Anyways,
yeah.
go get you some ice cream at Grapevine. No.
Yeah, for sure.
It's good.
But yes, I love that. Okay. But yeah, we have so many fun memories, even just in the past like month and a half. Like it's crazy to think about my friendships with y'all. Of like, I feel like we've just become friends like so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've known about you guys for like a long time, and like I've known like who you guys are, but like never. It was just a quick like, oh hey guys. Like if I saw you at the porch or church or something, I'd like wave and like maybe briefly talk, but it wasn't like now I'm like, oh, we're friends, you know? And it's just like you're some of my comfort people and like some of the people that I'm like, oh, I really want them to be there, you know?
Yeah.
Just because you make
Same for you.
Make it so much more fun. Like you guys make everything just so much more fun. And it's so great. And I feel like with girls, like this is like I don't know if I should say this, but like sometimes with girls it can be rare to like find people that you like really, really click with that like make you like belly laugh, like have a lot of fun with. At least, and maybe it's just because this is gonna sound like such a pick-me girl thing to say, but I'm gonna say it. But like, it's like I grew up with brothers, right? And so, and you did too. And
I did.
You have a brother, but it's like sometimes hanging out with the guys is just like so much more fun.
Yeah.
And like sometimes I have more of their sense of humor than like girls' sense of humor, and sometimes girls just like aren't that fun.
They don't do it for me.
Yes, exactly.
No, I'm just kidding. But kind of sometimes.
Sometimes.
It's just sometimes it's different.
It's just
being
different.
Friends with girls versus guys, and girls. There's a lot. There's more. There's more.
Yeah.
There's just. I feel like there's so much going on.
Yeah.
So it's nice sometimes when it's like guys are so drama free.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
I'm making them sound dumb. They're not simple minded, but
not.
they just are level headed. Maybe.
Yeah.
Not every guy, but
but that's how
I know what you mean.
That's how I feel with you guys. Like there are like a lot of girls too, though, that I feel that way towards. Where it's like,
totally.
oh, like you got like I can hang with y'all. Like you guys are like fun hangs, and it's like I can always count on like laughing and stuff.
No, literally same.
And
with
so
you.
it's just so fun. So I love it.
I feel blessed that you think that, and that's so kind. And same for you. I feel like it's so easy. Like now, I'm like text Izzy, or like it's just. Yeah, we know you're always down for stuff, and you make things fun. You make people feel so welcome, so it's easy to bring you around.
Right back at you guys, like literally right back at you. And I think that that's something huge that like I've been just to get on a tangent before we jump into the episode, which we will in a second, but like that is something that I've been so thankful for is like you guys have been so intentional with me and like invited me to things, and like I feel like you always have been like, oh, let's make sure Izzy's invited, or like let's make sure she's coming, or like let's make sure she knows she can come, which is just in the past couple months that's been just hard to find. Like I feel like I'm the one like I feel like I was always the initiator with friends and stuff, and so it's like, oh, if I don't reach out to people don't reach out to me. And so not always, but there was just some stuff that happened over the summer, and it's just like I felt like I was just getting invited to things less and less, and it was like people weren't like inviting me, and it's like, well, does nobody want me there? Like you would invite me if you wanted me there. And so the fact that like y'all like truly do invite me to everything, and like not everything but like a lot of things, and I never feel like excluded with you guys, and I'm never like, why didn't they invite me, because it's like I usually am invited, know. And so I don't know, that's just like something that's been so sweet and like such a blessing that I feel like the Lord
body
has, like,
of Christ.
It's amazing. Anyway, okay, so we jump into the topic at hand. Okay, that you're not prepared for at all.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we start, she's like, "I'm not prepared at all. Is that normal?"
Literally.
And I was like, "You're fine."
I was like, I guess I'm winging it.
Yeah. She's like, "Do I need my Bible?" I was like, "If you want it, you can."
I have my phone just in case.
Yeah. I have my Bible just in case, because I feel like every time I do one of these, then I'm like, okay, I'm trying to look up a verse. I'm trying to reference a verse. And I'm like, I don't know where it is. So I started bringing my Bible. But anyway, when is a time in your life that you feel like the Lord has asked you to hear him out about something?
Oh my gosh, just out of all of my life, I have to think of one.
Just one time. Now it can be multiple too, and it's like, it doesn't have to be like the perfect one. But
I mean, I think that I can think of a lot of times for sure. The first one that comes to mind is like, it's just kind of like, I feel like it's just naturally my testimony comes out, because for me, like, I grew up in a Christian household. I grew up just always knowing who Jesus was, and everything that a Christian household teaches of like how to have a quiet time, when you go to church, youth group, just like all of the things. I checked all those boxes. And again, all of that I'm literally so thankful for.
Yeah.
It's such a foundation of faith. And both of my parents, they didn't grow up with believing backgrounds. And so when my mom found the Lord in college, she just became on fire for the Lord. And so really
awesome.
reflected that to me and my younger brothers, all growing up, and just like discipled us in a huge way. And my dad came from like a really Southern Baptist background, loved, I guess, like the idea of God, but didn't see it out in practice, and really viewed a lot of believers as like hypocritical, just because,
which they are.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Yeah, this is true. Because lots of like broken family things going on in the background, and so didn't really like come to know the Lord as his own Lord and Savior until he was in his mid-20s, I think.
Oh, wow.
When his oldest sister passed away from a heart defect. And
Wow.
it just like really became all real to him of like, what do I believe?
Yeah.
Where is she? You know?
Yeah.
And then they met in a singles group at
Love
Second
it.
Baptist in Houston.
Love
Houston.
It. Shout out Second Baptist.
Shout out Second Baptist.
Why is it Second Baptist, not First Baptist? Every church is First Baptist.
You would think, right?
It's like different. They like split off or something. It's like how the Methodists did that thing too.
The Methodists split off?
Yeah. There's like some of the Methodists, they got in a disagreement and they created 2 different Methodists.
I know nothing about
that was recent, right?
I'll be honest.
Yeah. Well, Second Baptist, I don't know. It's a big church in Houston. And yeah, they met there, and then
the rest is history.
The rest is history for the Vincent family. But no, so yeah, grew up with that background of like they both did not grow up in like households that loved Jesus well. And so okay, that's the background of my family.
Background.
Now come to me, and it's like, yeah, all of that. And I accepted Christ when I was 7. And I describe my story as like a journey rather than like a stark like turn in the road, like a winding road almost of growth, to understand what I actually was being taught. Yeah. Because early on it's like that childlike faith. I accepted Christ. I got baptized. I remember that. And then life didn't really change. Life looked really similar. I remember like trying to be able to tell what fruits of the Spirit had come up in my life since like coming to know the Lord when I was younger. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm merciful, whatever. I don't know. That's not even a
merciful is not a fruit of the Spirit.
But
characteristic of God, for sure.
Then, for real. No, and then I quickly my flesh came out, I think, more so as I got older into junior high and struggled with some really deep insecurity and body image issues. I was homeschooled when I was...
Yeah, baby!
Let's go homeschooler!
Yeah! That's how I knew we'd be friends, is when I found out she was homeschooled. And I was like, yeah, you were.
I was homeschooled, baby. It's great.
Sorry,
continue. If you do highly recommend a co-op, though.
Yeah.
Don't homeschool alone.
Yes. I didn't do that, but or cyber school is great too.
Or cyber school, exactly.
A co-op, I would have preferred a co-op.
Yeah. Co-op, cyber school.
All my friends were in co-ops, and I was not. And I was
then you basically were in a co-op.
Yeah, I guess.
You know what I mean?
But they got to see each other. I did. Anyway.
I know. See, that's the benefit of a co-op. You have
a co-op is literally just public school homeschool.
It is, kind of.
It's literally like defeats the purpose of homeschool.
Anyway, pretty much. I mean, on Fridays we would go to like a full day of school. Yeah. But then the rest of the week it was like all at home, which is crazy. Like crazy. But like I have such fond memories of it. It was so fun. But as I got into junior high, and like actually oddly enough at church, I was like, I think the only homeschooler, like legit. I don't think I,
I know that feeling all too well.
I did not fit in. I did not fit in. I was, yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, I
Were
was
you
a
bullied?
homeschooler. No,
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think I was bullied.
That's good.
No,
Maybe she
I
just
don't
wasn't
have any
aware.
like.
Maybe it was happening and she just didn't know.
You know what?
Yeah.
It could have been.
Yeah.
I'm ignorance is bliss. I
Ugh,
don't want to
yeah.
know. Who knows? Because I was already struggling, you know. And
Mhm.
I do remember though, like a lot of those kids, we all went to the same public school or the same private school, and it was like, yeah, they all know each other. I don't
Mhm.
know them. I don't. And so there was like some subtle exclusion there for sure. And I'm an introvert, so I'm not gonna blame it all on that though. It was also like me
I literally wouldn't
caring
know
about.
that though.
Really?
I would not know you're an introvert.
Yeah, I'm an
You just
introvert.
like I wouldn't say you're the most extroverted person ever, but you're
Mhm.
not super introverted, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Well, okay, correction. Introvert is like, so are you saying you get like re-energized like being
Yeah.
alone?
Yes.
Okay. But like would you say you're like an outgoing person?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Because I was like,
definitely.
you're definitely very outgoing. And
Yes.
so, but you're also like, you're definitely not shy. Like, that's what I think of
No.
introverts. But then I'm like, okay, yeah, introverts get like.
I just get exhausted by large groups of people.
Right.
Very,
Okay.
very
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah. Okay.
And you can tell when my social battery's low, I think.
Yeah.
Like I'm not, yeah.
I feel like you can tell usually when somebody's on
Oh,
batteries. You're
yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah,
I'm
you're
ready to
like,
leave.
all right, I understand. Let's go. Take some time. But yeah, no, but at that time of my life, because of truly I would just describe it as like lies of the enemy. Like just I feel like one lie that I've always struggled to fight against is there's something wrong with you, which sounds so dramatic, but it's just gonna get weaved into into your life in these little ways.
Yeah.
And at this time in my life, I truly believe the enemy was out to, I mean, he is out to get the children of God. Like he is. And so like at an early age, just planting that seed of like, because these people don't fully accept you or whatever, there must be something wrong with you. And so I totally struggled with the fear of man and the fear of others, like just opinions of me. And so at that time, I would definitely have been considered shy. I definitely would have.
Yeah.
And so I struggled with that a lot. And then whenever I got to 7th grade, that's when I started struggling with like hidden sin. And I know you've talked about it on your podcast before with other women. And I think that's incredible. But the sin of pornography and just opened up kind of in an accidental situation where I was Googling a word I didn't know, you know, and boom, all of this access. And for some reason, I think it appealed to me. I mean, I know why. It's the sinful heart. And in 7th grade, started struggling with this deep addiction to pornography and just was struggling on my own. I didn't tell my parents, you know, like the classic. So then I'm starting to struggle with that, which nobody talks about that. Well, not nobody, but I don't feel like I hear this talked about a lot.
Yeah.
But with pornography, I don't know if it's specifically with women or if it's with men as well, but body image can be so affected.
Yeah.
It is so, it's
That's true.
perverted. Perverts your idea of sex.
Because you're seeing this and you're like, I'm not that.
You're like, whoa, I don't look like that, you know, or you just think like that's the expectation.
Yeah.
Right? Oh no.
Oh, it's okay.
Oh no.
This is our new background.
Guys, our background just
We'll
died.
fix it for Kaylee.
Oh no. So essentially just was struggling with that sin in the dark. And then got to 8th grade. I go to private school for the first time.
Big switch from
homeschool. Because did you have like grades in the homeschool? Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Okay.
I was cyber schooled, but
true.
So some of my classes were like grade class specific classes, but then some of them were just like high school classes.
Yeah.
So they were kind of like mixed.
Yes. Okay. See, that's most of what we did in the co-op we were in was just, you know, junior high classes or elementary school classes. It was like math, science, and they had like their own structure. My mom probably was on top of that. I don't remember, but I just remember like knowing A, B, C, and like, that's it.
Yep.
And then like the numerical value of like a grade was not like a concept in my mind at all, which is so crazy because now that's literally what drives you in school. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're like, I
It's
need
just
to get
so
a 92.
weird. Yes.
Yeah.
Like I remember going into private school and learning all these new things like about, grades, like all that. And so I totally loved that as the oldest daughter, only daughter, like achiever. I'm like, yes, I can get all A's and I can get hundreds or whatever. And found a ton of worth in that for sure. And then at the same time, I'm like so nervous and anxious about going to this school and dealing with fear and dealing with this hidden insecurity. So
did you know anybody going in?
I knew one guy from church, I think. Yeah, okay. I knew him from church, but we weren't like close friends.
Okay, so otherwise you like really didn't know anybody.
And at this time, oh my gosh, I was so bad with boys. I mean, weren't we all?
Still
actually
am.
No, like
still am very bad with boys.
My 8th grade. Some of my 8th grade girlfriends were so like, I thought they were so cool and whatever, and I was just
so good at like being flirty.
Yes,
and getting all the boys.
The boys were just fun, and I was like,
you're like, how do I talk to you?
Yeah, literally. Yeah. I was like, I don't even want to look at you, approach you, or interact with you at all.
Yep.
So there was no way I was friends with that guy from church, but I did know him.
Which, if you're dealing with insecurities too, it's extra. Like,
definitely,
I can't.
And like, I just don't even think I understood the depth too of like insecurity coming from all these different directions. And so, get to high school. I wanted to be on the tennis team. We didn't have that. Then,
okay, little tennis girl.
I know I was a tennis girl, but then I was a gymnast before, and They had spots open on the cheer squad. This is a small private school, okay? So you didn't have to be that good at cheer.
Yeah.
So I was like, I guess I'm doing cheer if I want to.
Cheerleader.
If I want to do a sport, and I was bad at volleyball, so I was like, I got to do cheer.
Aren't you good at it now?
No, I'm not.
I'm not gonna lie. When you were playing the other night, I was not paying attention. We were all deep in a conversation, and I did not. I think I had my back turned to you like the entire time.
But like sand volleyball and actual volleyball are different.
That's true. They're different.
They're very different.
That's very true.
And I feel less pressure with sand volleyball for sure. I think with I say real volleyball, indoor volleyball.
Yeah. She's like Olympics. The Olympics is like
in the Olympics. Yeah. No. It's like, you actually had to, they were like bump set spike, and I was like a left side hitter, and I had to like spike the ball, and I couldn't even overhand serve because
I can't overhand
I was just
serve.
not
Can you
very
overhand
good.
serve now?
No.
Okay, that makes me feel so much better. No. I still can't.
I can't. I just do my little bump.
And it works.
With my fist.
And it works.
It works.
That's my thing. I'm like, it works great, and it gets the ball over the net. So why does it have to be overhand?
It's like something about sand volleyball. I love that you can just like dive for the ball. It's so fun. Like not on the ground. On the ground in the gym and stuff.
Yucky.
Like even though you have knee pad or are they knee pads?
Yeah.
Knee pads. Like no, I'm not.
It's just dangerous.
I'm not doing yucky. And I think I sprained my thumb one time when I did that.
Wow.
Anyways, we're getting way off track.
Sorry.
But I was a cheerleader. Okay. That was my point, is that I was a cheerleader for those 4 years and started to really desire popularity. And again, the theme here is desiring the approval of man and of others. And
fear of man is just over and over
again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. For sure. And it's like, okay. Just building this new foundation that, I don't know, kind of overpowered like the truth. And so I really struggled 9th, 10th. We get to 11th grade, my junior year, and my friend group completely fell apart that I had built. I had like invested in this group of girls that were cool, and actually, funnily enough, none of them were cheerleaders, but they were all like cool. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but
you mean you can be cool and not be a
you
cheerleader?
Don't have to be a
That's
cheerleader?
crazy.
I just like made a big deal about me being a cheerleader, and then I'm like, and my friends weren't even cheerleaders. That's funny. But no, I was just
good
like,
to know because I wasn't a cheerleader, so that's great to know you can be cool and not a cheerleader.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they had some drama, and
They're girls. Who doesn't? It's girls in a private school.
Like, girls in a private school, and then it was like boys involved too.
I swear, the private school drama was worse than like public school drama.
Yeah,
like the private schools in my area, I knew most of the kids in those schools because they're pretty small schools, and like most of them went to church with me, and I was just like the drama, and they were like doing drugs more than the public school kids, and I was like, this is sad. Anyway,
I know it is. It's because they have the money too.
It's true.
But yeah, there's definitely lots of stuff going on. Friend group falls apart like right before the summer of my, I guess, junior year.
Not right before summer.
I'm like, not before summer, guys. Come on.
You're like, can we at least get through summer and then break up? Yeah.
It was like basically one of the girls was dating a guy and then broke up.
That's how it always
week
starts.
later, other girl in the friend group's dating him. We're all like, what?
Why does that still kind of happen now?
And you know what's crazy is
What?
that was like not even the first time that had happened between them. It was them two specifically would always date the same people. It was so weird. Okay.
How big was your private school?
My class was 70 people.
Okay.
The high school like group I would say was like around 200 maybe.
Okay.
So
okay.
You pretty much knew.
So it was like it's like
yeah.
Gary and Lily are going at it again.
Oh. Yes. Unfortunately,
breakup number 4.
Yeah, literally, it was. Yeah. It was bad. So, yeah, okay. But then that summer, I'm like, I have no friends to hang out with or whatever, you know, and all of this, and like, I think that was the Lord's way of honestly, like, kind of just preparing my heart for a change, and just taking me away from influences that were reinforcing a lot of those lies, because as they were getting into boy drama, I like wasn't dating people, and I think I was a little bit afraid of getting into all of that in the first place. But then I also was just such a people pleaser and did not like live for Christ when I was around them, if that makes sense. And I was just wanting acceptance from them over and over and over of like, I just need to prove that I'm not a homeschool girl that's weird, and I just need to prove that I'm not like this.
I'm a cheerleader.
I'm not this innocent little girl. Even though, like, what is wrong with that? Why can't bring back purity and innocence? Bring back the fact that that's actually such a compliment.
Bring it back.
Bring it back, guys. Yeah. Come on.
I feel like it's coming back.
Oh, I think.
In the Christian
I think it's
culture,
been there. It's just it's like, I don't know.
I feel like you never know if it's a slam or a compliment. Like someone will be like, you're really pure, and you're like, are you a compliment, or are you saying like you think I'm like dumb and naive?
Yeah, you know? I've been called a prude before, and I was like, "Thank you."
Like, wait,
I was like, "That is such a compliment."
Yeah.
I was like, "You think I'm a prude?" I was like, "Thank you."
Oh my gosh,
like that.
Like,
I wanted,
because I was like, "That's better than being like she's like you're easy, you sleep around, you know, whatever." Like, I was like, "I'd much rather be called a prude. Please do call me a prude."
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
was like, seriously. I am. Thank you for noticing.
Period. But yeah, I went on a mission trip that summer with my youth group. My youth group was so awesome. They did a mission trip every summer, like for your grade.
Second Baptist?
No. I actually went to Kingsland Baptist.
Oh. Different Baptist church.
Yeah.
He's like, actually, I went to Third Baptist church.
I go to Seventh Baptist.
That would be crazy. No. Kingsland Baptist was closer. Second Baptist is a little bit more deep into the Houston area. So I lived in Katy. We were closer to Kingsland.
Okay.
But yeah, we went to Kingsland, and they had such a great program. They did mission trips. So junior year, we have this big mission trip planned. We're going to go to Montana. It's going to be great. And like, we're going to go in the mountains. And I mean, like, this isn't even sounding like a mission trip anymore, but whatever.
Yeah. That's basically me when I went to Guatemala. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they basically did an Uno reverse on us, and we're like, actually, we like the people that we were with we've always like partnered with, said we can't come back this year. And we need to go to Colorado.
What did they do? Tea.
I know it is tea.
Happened there.
I don't remember, honestly. But, like, we got rerouted to Colorado for this, like, how horrible does this sound? Discipleship conference. No! And all of my friends and I were like, no. And then my dad went with me. It was fun, though. But it was actually, like, incredible. Moral of the story, because I went and learned how, like, I don't know how this happened, but I feel like I had never learned how to really share the gospel. And I learned how to actively share the gospel with people in a big way there. They would just like have, they like made us download this app, and they were like, this is what you want to do. And it wasn't like they're trying to like make people projects kind of vibe. It was like, no, we genuinely want people to know the Lord. Like, you should feel passionate about your school knowing Jesus. And I was like, I want to feel passionate about that, and just lit a fire inside of me for the Lord. And I'm still struggling with sin. But I remember that.
What grade is this?
This was still in my junior year.
Okay, so 11th grade. Okay,
right. Yeah. So I'm like still that summer like struggling, but I remember kind of just the Lord softening my heart. It was like he was taking a little pick and chipping away about at the rock or the ice or whatever, like that was surrounding just like how much I was protecting, I guess, that side of my life, because I literally thought if I told anyone that my life would be over, like I thought that no one would ever look at me the same, all that. Now I'm sharing it on a podcast. It's crazy.
For real.
That's what the Lord can do. But it was just his first little, come on, let's get on board here. So went back to school and started this program called C2, which was
I feel like I've heard of that.
It's I'm trying to remember. I think it's Connect to Christ or something like that. Okay. But it's Kingsland Baptist kind of coined it, I guess. There's probably a bunch of C2s out there, but it was like this mobilization effort for students to go out to each of their individual schools, public, private, wherever you are, and have a Bible study, like offer a place for people to come and hear testimony or hear the word of God or whatever. And usually it's done during lunch or just whenever it's convenient. And then they provide food. And like kind of like college ministry, but just in high school. Yeah. And we didn't have like Young Life at our school or anything like that. So there wasn't that going on. And we did that at school like once every other week. We would do a lunch where we would have C2 bring Chick-fil-A and everybody would come whenever they knew nuggets were going to be there. Yeah. And
that's how you bring it. That's how you get them there.
That's how you get them there.
And then it's like a trap.
Yes. And then they would all sit on the ground and we would pick a student to share their testimony. And it just turned into this big friend group, honestly, of people where it was like, a lot of us were on the worship team too at our private school. And so
were you?
I was.
What did you do?
I played piano. Yeah.
Ooh.
So that was really fun. And we would we just all shared our testimonies like one by one. And it was so cool because it was like everyone had such a different story to share and shared how the Lord changed their life. And people like truly came to know the Lord through that.
Awesome.
And it was huge. And then through all of that, I remember I shared my testimony, but I didn't share the pornography struggle.
I was going to say, have you shared this at this point?
No. And I remember getting ready for my testimony or whatever and being like, I can't. And I didn't end up doing it. I shared about fear, but I didn't share about that. But then like literally that next month, I realized like this needs to come to light because one of my guy friends shared about his struggle with pornography. And at this point, I think I was like just really hungry for freedom because I had tried everything. At this point, I don't think I was like, I feel like it was only a little amount of time that I was like craving it. It was like at this point, I felt like it was just what I needed to do to survive. That sounds horrible, but it just was an addiction. And it was like crippling me because I could not stop on my own. Like, could not.
Nope. Yeah.
And I was like, pray, like, Lord, please help me. Lord, please help me. Will you just take this away from me? Just anything except for confession. I don't want to confess this. And that is literally the step I think everyone should take for freedom, just because you need that accountability. And it literally sets it free. It's crazy. But I shared with my mom, and I remember her response just being so gracious and like literally reflecting Jesus right there in front of me. And I just like could not stop crying and just was overcome with relief and peace and the understanding of the Lord's forgiveness. I was like, this is why Jesus died on the cross. Like, this is what he died for. Because I don't think before I like fully understood my need for that at all. So, man, it was really awesome. And I feel like that was a moment of big change in my life. It wasn't like this is I feel like a milestone on the roadmap of my testimony.
Yeah.
Because I was saved. Like, I truly do believe that. But I just think that this was enslaving my life. And I was living in the old self.
Yeah.
Fully. So, yeah, it was really cool. And then I got to finish out like senior year and get excited for going to A&M and getting my degree there and making new friends, joining crew, joining a women's org was a Christian women's org that.
Did y'all meet there?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought.
But not
in crew.
We didn't really become friends there, but we met.
Yeah, we met at A&M.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was
Did
fun.
y'all become friends more like at Texas Women's?
Yeah.
Kind of like when we met you like
a
while ago.
Yeah.
We met.
Yeah.
But we didn't become friends until later.
Yeah.
Kind of similar.
Yeah.
So cute though.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, meet cute.
It was really cute. But yeah, we met a crew. We were like friends with different people, but friends with similar people too. Yeah. Like it was like all a little.
Everybody knew.
It was all mixed into. Yeah, exactly. But we just personally never spent time one-on-one together, and I don't know why, but
not until
just how it happened. Yeah.
Found out we were going to TWU.
And then you were like, I guess we should talk to each other.
I guess we should.
We were like,
hey,
Priya didn't go to A&M, did she?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But
then Rachel did.
Oklahoma.
And y'all knew Rachel?
Yeah, Rachel was also in crew.
Okay, so that's how y'all knew her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I was in the same Bible study as Rachel.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
And Ella was in a different Bible study.
Yes.
But it was like, I don't know, in our class, like in our class of 2022, I feel like there was maybe like 50, 60 girls or total. I don't know.
Wow.
That's kind of small. I would say so, yeah.
In that org.
Yeah, that's small for like A&M.
Yeah.
You know.
Small for A&M, but not small in general for sure.
Yeah. True.
It was a lot. It was fun. It was a fun time. But the Lord really provided community there. More freedom too, because funnily enough, I didn't get to share my testimony at C2, but I shared it about, oh my gosh, I have to count on my, like, close to 50 times. Because in this women's org I was in, a requirement as a, like, what do you call it whenever you're, like, a new person in a sorority?
You're asking a girl
pledge.
who. Oh, okay. I was like, was not in a sorority.
Sorry.
Neither of us were sorority girls.
She was.
Well, for 2 months. I dropped out.
Yeah. You were like, the sorority life isn't for me.
Yeah.
She said, never mind.
And then you're like,
she was like, I don't know about this anymore.
People threw up in the lobby of the A&M hotel.
Yikes. Is that was that the moment you were like, I'm peacing out of here?
Yeah, well, I paid $1,000 to be in it.
Yeah, it's
you have to pay money to
yes,
be.
You have to pay money. And that's why I didn't do it.
Oh, heck, yeah, no. Honestly, even if my school did have Greek life, I'd be like, no.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna. I just am one of those people that likes to go against the grain. You know, I'm like, you can't put me in a box like everybody else. Yeah,
it adds up. I love it though.
Exactly. In a sea of maroon, I was like, let me vote for UT.
Just causing some chaos.
Yes, let me stir up the drama. Yeah.
No, I would have definitely rushed, to be honest, if I had the means.
That's
my
fair.
Parents were like, if you want to do that, you can pay for it. And I was like, shoot, well, I'm not doing that.
Didn't Davey the other night, he was like, I'd bet money you were sorority
yes! Girl. He did.
And then he was like, were you? And you were like,
Davey
nope.
Thought
and he was like, I would have lost a lot of money.
Davey thought he clocked me with that. He did, but he was wrong.
Yeah.
But I was in a women's org. I just don't want to say that in that moment.
Fair. But that's not a sorority.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't Greek life.
Okay,
sure.
So the pledges. Sorry, back to the pledges.
Yeah, so I was a a pledge, and the requirement as a pledge is you have to share your testimony with every active member. And there were probably 40 something active members.
Like in a one-on-one setting?
Yes, in a one-on-one setting.
Sheesh.
Pretty wild.
I've been like, can I just talk in front of everybody?
I know. No, you had to go individually and get coffee with people. Like the amount of...
I wouldn't have had time for that or money for that. Yeah.
They'll like buy you coffee. Well, you don't have to get coffee, y'all. You can just go to the coffee shop.
Go to a coffee shop and not get coffee. That's ridiculous.
A lot of them were like sitting in a park or sitting at my house, or I guess I was a freshman, so I was me sitting at their house usually.
I was gonna say you didn't have money to be a pledge, but you didn't have money to go on for coffee.
Oh no. No. I was definitely balling on a budget, but and I didn't have my car that semester. So yeah,
you're like Vince.
I was like,
riding
can
a bike
anyone pick me up from the dorm?
Yeah. Did you have a bike?
No.
She wasn't Vince.
I was totally depending. No, I am not Vince. No. No one
one
else
of our friends
can be Vince.
One of our friends doesn't have a car, but he has a bike, and he will bike everywhere.
He was gonna bike from McKinney.
He did
To downtown. Oh yeah,
he biked back. He biked back. The other day we did on Thanksgiving. We did a turkey trot, and I picked him up because I picked up him and Gus, and because they were like on the way.
No way.
But he wanted to stay in Dallas for something, and he was like, "Oh, like he brought his bike, and he was like, I'm just gonna ride back up to Allen." It was Allen, not McKinney, but it was Allen.
Dang.
It was like probably a 30-minute drive,
and it was freezing.
And but yeah, he survived. I don't know
how.
Anyway, we saw him at the party, so he was he was at the UT A&M game party, so he's alive.
Crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh my gosh.
Anyway. Sorry, that's a side note about biking.
But that's like not surprising to me at all for him to do that at all. Like it doesn't even really like. That's funny though.
Yeah, yeah.
Glad he survived.
Yeah,
but no, I did not bike on the A&M campus, and honestly, for the better because I saw so many bike crashes. Really? Probably at least one a day. I would see somebody eat it. Ugh. It was bad. I mean, there's just so many people on that campus walking, and then there's A&M Aggie buses, and they're just trying to bob and weave, and like, yeah, they're going way too fast for their own good. So I would probably being dramatic. It wasn't one a day, but it was like once a week at least. Yeah. But yes, I got to share my testimony, like, I don't know, upwards of 50 times.
That's crazy.
Crazy amount. And so it really got easy to just, it was like shedding a layer of like shame every single time. Because I think the biggest like lift of shame was the initial first, like, wow, you're the first person who knows. And you're my mother.
That's crazy.
Yeah, crazy. But she is my best friend. We're very close. Sweet. And I think it was very, very good for a relationship too, because of all of this angst that's going on in my heart with all of the sin and all of the shame, the guilt, insecurity, she's like probably dealing with the most of it because I come home from school and what's the first thing she's like, how's your day? And I'm probably just biting her head off, you know, I know I did actually. I know I did. And I remember just like moments whenever I was even just doing driver's ed and we would just fight.
I feel like that's where all the fights start.
It was rough.
Like, that the most fighting my mom and I probably ever did was when I was getting my license. So I get that.
Oh, it's so stressful.
There's spiritual warfare going on.
Well, it's also, yes, there is. There is. Someone needs to pray over the car every single time. I was like, oh my goodness, this woman.
And that's exactly what she's thinking about you.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And she's also like, what if I die right now? Because she is, like, I was probably not a good driver, you know? But, so that was huge, and the Lord really provided. But, yeah, that's kind of like where I feel like the hear him out, I guess, to go back to that, was just
our black
son. Yeah. It's okay. Just the moment of like, you know, just understanding like I need the gospel just as much as the school friends that I want to know the Lord so bad. And how do you find freedom? It's like He built us for community. He built us to confess our sins. We believe, we accept him, and then we confess because we understand that we are in need of a savior. And when you are hiding things from the Lord, you're not living in the new flesh that you've been given.
Right.
And so it's literally like, peel off that old flesh. There's nothing. It's not for you. Like, don't try to put that back on. Like, it's gone.
Yeah.
So that's literally how I would describe most of my high school experience was trying to put that back on and thinking that somehow I could, I don't know, conjure up some better version of myself, I guess, than the Lord has made. And so since then, it's been like a lot of, well, for other reasons, I've gone to counseling, but I've done lots of work, and I'm still, I feel like, learning new things all the time about just like how to be secure in my identity in Christ and to not let the fear of man overtake me, and how to not be, just such a people pleaser. I feel like that's that's a big,
so good,
big thing.
Sorry, I'm looking for a verse.
What are you looking
James for? Well, I'll find it. Give me a second.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna completely butcher it.
Yeah.
It's it's the verse in, I think it's in first. Hold on. Where is it? Maybe it's at the end of James. It's basically a verse in in James 5. It says therefore confess, it's verse 16, therefore confess your sins to one another and pray for one another so that you may be healed. And just like the verse being like, confess your sins and like bring it to light, and like pray for one another so that you may be healed. And it's like, you won't be able to be healed of your brokenness and of your sin until you bring it to the light. And like, there's so many other verses as well, like in the Bible, of just like talking about like the darkness and the light, and how like you bringing your sin to light like literally destroys it, because like the enemy doesn't have as much of a foothold if your sin keeps being brought to light, because that's where like you, like when you're by yourself with your sin, it's like all the shame can creep in, all these thoughts can creep in, you know, like nobody knows it, nobody can speak truth into you, and like you're isolated, and like that's exactly where Satan wants you to be. And so of course he's gonna keep saying things of like, don't tell anybody, because nobody's gonna like look at you the same way, and nobody's gonna like you, and blah blah blah. And to like make you want to stay isolated, because he knows that like when you bring it into the presence of others, other believers specifically, like other believers, and like bring it to light, and like there's just, it doesn't have power over you, you know, and it doesn't, like sin has no hold on you anymore. And because then other, like your fellow believers can pray for you, and like you can, because of that, like you will be healed from that, you know. And I just think it's just so good that you like had that boldness. First off, just thanks for sharing on a podcast, because it's a hard thing to share to 40 girls, but it's especially a hard thing to share to the world, because I'm famous. You know, the 20 people that are going to listen to this.
You're famous in Watermark.
No. Just I talk to people, and that's pretty much it. But it's like, you know, the 20 people that are going to listen to this might be people that like I never knew that about you until this moment, which is what I love about the podcast, because it really just like, I learned so many things about people. This is not something we talked about when we were walking and talking, you know.
I know.
But I just love like your vulnerability, and just like being able to share that with people, because it's hard. Like, and I think to me, at least, this is just how my mind works sometimes, which isn't justifiable, but like sometimes I'm just like, oh, it's so easy for guys to share it, because it's just like something that every guy struggles with, you know. And it's just like that's what I feel like our world and like has tainted that view of just every guy struggles with that sin, so it's like of course the guy's gonna struggle with it, you know.
It's like every youth group talk, it's like, all right guys and
literally
girls split up.
Literally, and I will tell you,
I was always like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with me again? The message of something's wrong with you, it's like reinforced. But
because when my youth group did that, like we did not talk about pornography, like literally.
I know, and it
was just like how to stay pure if you date somebody or something like that. And it's like, okay, but like I knew for a fact that the guys talk was on pornography. And I'm like, why? Like it's not as normalized it shouldn't be normalized because it's not normal, but it's not as like, talked about.
It should be talked about.
And so, it should be talked about.
Because it's also just so relevant to, again, that's going to sound so stupid, but it's just like relevant to the culture of like, we have such crazy access to stuff that back then it's like our parents had to go buy like a porn magazine or whatever, like if they wanted to see that. It's like we don't even have to be looking for it.
Open Instagram.
You don't even have to be looking for it. That's the craziest part. And I mean, I've even in my moments sharing my testimony, like I can't even count the amount of times people have been like, wait, I struggle with that too. And I've never told anyone kind of thing. And like, it's just such a cool way to like, all glory to the Lord though, because like in my own strength, I'm like shaking in my boots being like, people are going to listen to this and people are going to hear this. Like they may see me differently, but it doesn't, to me, I'm like, the Lord has redeemed. So it doesn't matter. My worth is so not in that, but it's the Holy Spirit that gives the power to anybody, I think, to share that, especially women, but guys too, for sure, because it doesn't get easy or anything.
I'm not saying, because you're a guy, it should be easy for you to share that. Like, but kind of like I kind of almost do think that sometimes.
It may not be as surprising to hear.
Yes. It's just because it's just not as surprising, and I'm just like, whatever. Like I'm like, I'm okay. I'm like just every guy, you know. But like it's just not as common with girls, and because of that, we're like it's just not something that's talked about, and so it's just like every girl is so much more scared to like bring up any form of sexual sin because they're just like, oh no, that's a guy thing. Like that's something that guys struggle with, and like I don't want to be seen as weird and like you know, overly sexual or whatever. And it's just like, ooh, like people are gonna think of me weirdly. But I feel like if a guy says it, it's like, it's because you're a guy. Like and it's just like, that's just what it is. And so I think it's so hard. So like I really just admire you for that. And I guess question like since that, because that was senior year. Okay, so senior year of high school, like what, like do you feel like people did see you differently? Like do you feel like it did kind of not ruin, like change relationships, ruin relationships, like create relationships, and like how do you feel like it changed like when you told people and like were open and honest about it? And then also like was it still like talk about kind of because I feel like some people hear a story like that and they're like, okay, and then they were free from it forever. And then it's like, but that then in reality, like it's not like people are just done. It's not like, okay, I told everybody and now I don't struggle with it anymore.
It's magically gone.
Yeah, it's like no, like it's not like yes, the Lord does heal, but sometimes the healing takes a long time.
It does.
Like, sometimes it's very slow, and you know, there's regression. Is that the word? I don't know what I'm
There's
saying.
like ups and downs.
It's ups and downs, and it's not like you're just talk about that a little bit. And like
I would say after like senior year, told my mom, and we immediately hopped on what's called Covenant Eyes. It's like an app.
I was gonna say, was it Covenant Eyes?
It's incredible. And like honestly, I'm gonna use it on my kids no matter
keep going.
Is it still recording?
Yeah, I think it's still going.
Oh, perfect.
So that's our so
oh no. Okay, we're good. So this app called Covenant Eyes, love it. We'll be using it on my kids in the future. Whether like before we even need to get there. To
they'll
the porn
be out of the
situation.
womb and you're like, Covenant Eyes.
I'm like, Covenant Eyes.
Covenant Eyes on Bluey.
Like, literally, I'm like, oh gosh, it's so scary to me. Like, oh my gosh. I'm like low key like I'm not giving my kids a phone. I'm going to be that parent.
Do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the parents that I feared, I'm going to become.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna let my kids watch Bluey. I'm gonna say it. I'll
Hey,
give
let
my
'em
kids
watch
a phone if they
Bluey.
can watch Bluey. You know, I'll
Hey,
dumb it down. I'll put all the things on it. I'll be like, here, go watch Bluey
Go
and cry
for it.
with me.
Please.
Anyway.
Yeah, you love Bluey.
So good. Anyway.
Still haven't watched it.
Oh, we'll watch it one night.
We'll get there.
We
We'll
will.
get there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Maybe on the TV.
Yeah.
I don't
Play
know.
it in the
We'll have Bluey
background.
on the next episode.
whole
Actually, the
time.
next episode is just gonna be us watching Bluey. Live reaction. Yeah.
Bluey, how did you
Yeah.
how did God ask you to hear him out? No, I'm just kidding. So we did that, and huge jump in freedom, which was awesome. It doesn't cover back in the day, I remember it like didn't cover every base basically. Like Instagram was one, for example, that it didn't cover. Which I don't even know now. I think it does now, but I'm not 100% on that. But basically, yeah, I was like living in a lot of freedom, and then COVID came around, and also like big part of my story that I probably won't be able to get into as much detail about, but I lost my youngest brother my freshman year of college, end of my freshman year of college, beginning of sophomore year.
What year was that?
That was 2019.
Okay.
Yeah. So 2019 in August, I went through that. My family went through huge, just tragedy with that.
Was it like very unexpected?
Very unexpected. And so I went back to college like couple weeks later, and like basically dropped out of some class because I couldn't handle the full course load.
Yeah.
But then whenever COVID came around, that was that same like school year. So 2020 was that next semester. So fall, I was at A&M and still taking class, but was going to grief counseling, dealing with a lot. Kind of went through some heartbreak at that time. It was just like a lot. And
just
then
said, Joe Barrett.
Yeah, it was rough. It was hard. And was honestly like, it's crazy how in those eras of life you feel the closest to the Lord because he just draws near to us. But so I was growing a ton in my faith, but it was very, very emotionally and physically difficult. So then we get to COVID era. That was hard. I remember going home, and we didn't go back until the next year, and being so disappointed that I missed out on time with friends and all of this. And then I'm basically, after he passed, we did move out of our childhood home right away because it was just very difficult on our family, and we moved to a rental home for a little bit, and then my parents
move out of that house on purpose because it was just too hard.
It was just too hard.
Yeah.
And like I literally left for college, and then like I never got to go back.
Wow.
But moved into a rental home, and so when I went home for COVID, it was there, and it just felt so. I just get chills even thinking about it. It was just hard. It was felt like almost like a dark time because it was like I'm grieving, I'm sad, I'm tired, and I'm doing class online, and I'm with my family who's also grieving. And I remember I took up running for a little bit, but it barely even scratched the surface. Like I think I was going through a season of depression for sure. So I did revert back to my struggle. I found loopholes through Instagram actually, and was struggling. And then I would like struggle off and on. And I talked to my mom about it at one point. I think right before I went to camp. Actually, I was gonna be senior counselor at Pine Cove. That worked out great. No, it was bad. It was
which Pine
crazy. I was a Camp in the City person, and then it all got canceled. But I got sent to Outback, which was crazy but really fun, and then Silverado, and then Cryer Creek, and then I got COVID.
Oh,
yeah, it was crazy. But I went through that summer, and then junior year struggled off and on for a while. There weren't any like major times of struggle. I would say I was pretty like at that point I was back to a full course load and I was like busy with school and like applying for getting ready to apply for PT school. You know how that is. And then senior year I was dating someone at the time, and he actually, like, for the sake of his freedom, decided to delete Instagram, like his whole account.
Good for him.
And I was like, slay. I want to do that too.
Yeah.
So I literally deleted.
Solidarity.
I was like, I'll do it too. So I literally deleted my entire account. Like, didn't have an Instagram for the past 4 years, or no, past 3 years.
Like, not just like, well, do you have like an account still?
So I just made an account like a month ago. Yeah.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, that was
I thought that was like just your account. That's why you have like 2 posts.
Yeah, that's why I have like 3 posts.
I was like, man, she hasn't posted for a while. Now she's posting a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, that.
No, it was like a new account. Yeah.
Dang.
So yeah, I like basically took a hiatus from that because I was like, this.
That's awesome.
You know how, I forget what verse it is, but the one where it's like, if your hand is causing you to stumble, cut it off.
Yeah.
I took it seriously. I was like, okay. And shout out to my ex-boyfriend, I guess. But that was like a good thing. I mean, that was a way that the Lord used him in my life.
Yeah.
And
that's awesome.
Really awesome. Brought me a lot of freedom there as well. And then since then, I think my main like struggle has just been continuing to find freedom from like body image insecurities that I'll randomly have. Like Kayla and I talk about that sometimes, about, like, I've shared with her, just sometimes you're insecure about the most random small things that no one cares about.
Nobody
and I
notices.
just nobody notices.
She's
and
like, my left earlobe is slightly larger.
I mean, her ear holes. She's talking about her tiny ear holes over here.
I would never think about
By
that.
the way, that's not true, but but that's a good example. It's a good example. Yeah. It's like that level.
Yeah.
You notice about yourself, and
like
then
small things.
Tell it to me, and I'm like,
what? What
Yeah.
are you talking about?
Yeah, you're like, my left index finger looks different than my right index finger. Can you tell?
Just things that I used to like truly let like hold a lot. Almost said hold space. That's like
holding space for defining
holding space. No. More like just holding weight, I guess, over my head, of like, because your nose is too long, no guy is ever gonna want to marry you.
Your nose is not too long.
No.
But like, I understand.
Things like that where you're just like, girl.
Yeah, it's just those lies that the enemy is just whispering in your ear of like, so this is what's wrong with you, and this is what's wrong with you, and this is what's wrong with you.
Yes.
And the fact that you're single makes it like 10 times worse, because then the enemy's like, and that's why you're single.
Right.
Yeah.
Or someone rejects you. I feel like I'm more like, just you go through this in your young 20s and you're just like, okay, like,
you're like, dang it, it's because of my earlobe.
It's definitely my nose.
Yeah.
No. But then you're quickly like, what the best part about it is now is like just the opportunity. First of all, I feel like my frontal lobe is closing, which is great, and that helps. But then second of all, also I'm growing my faith, so that's probably more of what it is.
Yeah.
But growing in maturity and just continuing to like impress upon my heart that like every time I have that thought, it's okay to, because I used to freak out when I'd have the thought. It's like I let it spiral. Now it's like, okay, you know the truth, like just preach the truth to yourself. And so I just, that's what I've been trying to do lately. And again, overall, as you can see, there's ups and downs in the story. Like the freedom, I don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 years, but I'm with my community group, asking them for prayer all the time. Like I've definitely struggled with like at certain times, like certain TV shows where I was like, I need to not watch that. Like for a little while, I was like,
okay, some of these TV shows are straight up porn nowadays, though. So I don't blame you.
Like, for real.
Yeah. Yes. Bridgerton is literally straight up porn.
Yeah.
A period piece.
For what? For what reason?
And
like,
literally.
Yeah.
It's not.
I try to
it never is.
Fast forward. Sometimes it comes on too quickly, and I'm like,
the plot is not good enough for these scenes.
I'm not missing anything when I'm fast forwarding. So why are we like for
one
real. Making these people that are in
Mhm.
committed relationships do this
Mhm.
with people they're not in a relationship with, and then making people watch it.
Yeah.
It's
It's
sad.
called porn. It's called,
It's called the
porn.
world.
Yeah.
It's called
It's called Satan.
It's not good. But
Yeah,
I
I've
actually
watched
that
it.
literally
I don't
was.
recommend it. I watched too many shows that I'm like, I shouldn't have watched these. Like in hindsight,
right?
and I'm like, I don't recommend them to anybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway.
like Bridgerton was one in college. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't think I should be watching this, and so I didn't. And I try to be. I'm not perfect in it for sure. But yeah, just trying to. It's like finding those things, and then just like being open is so key. With the struggle is just being open, and yeah, with grief in my story too. Like that can really. I don't know, amplify the feelings and the longing for something to almost like comfort you and seeking satisfaction in other things. And so that was a big like season of needing to seek the Lord in that, which I didn't expect, not gonna lie. You would think that you're just consumed with just missing that person, and you are, but it's like almost because of that.
But it's like a foothold that the enemy
yes,
has
like
then.
when you've had
'Cause
a
you're
former
down.
addiction, it's like, I mean, you think about alcoholics,
it's literally the same thing,
or smokers, or like drug
it's a
addiction.
stressful
These
situation,
are real things. Like, and it's exactly. So just training your body to not give in, and again, you can literally only do it though with the Lord, and like because there are some times when I'm like, my flesh is fierce, and the Holy Spirit has to intervene, and then also like having that community around you, the design that God has for us as the church, and that's all I have to say about that.
That's good. Any like final closing thoughts? Because it's probably my phone's probably gonna die in a second. So
oh my gosh, yes,
you have like 2 sentences.
I have had such a good time, and this was way easier than I thought, and I've enjoyed this conversation. I think just want to encourage the listeners out there to seek community, and do not listen to the lies of the enemy. Fight against it. It's not true. If anything sounds condemning in your heart, in your mind, it's not the Lord.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Join me next week. Ella and Kaylee are back, and Kaylee shares about how she grew up as a missionary's kid, and every summer would go to Africa and live there for 3 to 4 months out of the year, and how that looked like in her life, and how God used that so much in her life. And it's a great episode. It's really cool. She shares some amazing miracle stories that she witnessed with her own eyes, and it's just so cool. But until then, have a great week.